Here's a startling fact. 40% of Palestinian men in the West Bank and Jerusalem have spent time in Israeli prison. But what types of crimes are being committed that warrants such an incarceration rate? Talk about what forms of nonviolent resistance are being penalized.
For example, even like BDS or taking like any activity that supports like boycotting Israel. So even writing something on Facebook or taking part in a demonstration that's not violent can be considered a criminal activity as well. Almost since the beginning of the current uprising, since October 2015, more than 300 Palestinians have been arrested for posting things on social media. And also, it depends, like the sentencing depends on the likes and shares they get, which is ridiculous. So if you write something on Facebook and you only had one share and one like, then your sentence might be lower than a person that had 100 likes and probably like 50 shares on his Facebook post. So these are the criteria that whether the military court in the West Bank or sometimes even Israeli civil courts rely on when they sentence somebody based on what they call incitement.
Most commonly, people are arrested for sharing or liking images of their friends and loved ones who are killed by Israeli forces. Something even more innocuous, like what happened to Jern Kada, a 19-year-old university student who was kidnapped by Israeli soldiers in the middle of the night and interrogated about a poem she posted on Facebook. The quote from the poem she posted was, "If I leave suddenly, keep me in your prayers." According to Kada, officials kept asking, "Why did you post it? Do you want to die?" She was placed in administrative detention for 3 months without charges or trial. What about protesting here and belonging to political parties in the West Bank?
So for the West Bank, there's the military law system, which constitutes around 2,400 military orders, and according to Military Order 101. Taking part in any political activity is considered an illegal activity. So even like raising a flag or handing a leaflet or even taking part in a demonstration is considered an illegal activity.
Thousands of Palestinians are arrested every month, the majority of them for throwing rocks. The majority of those arrested for this offense are children. For many years, youth were generally held for several months to up to 2 years for throwing stones. But over the past few years, Israel has increased the penalty to draconian heights. Now, Palestinians face a minimum of 3 years, 10 years for simply throwing a stone at a vehicle, and up to 20 years if they're charged with intent to harm with the stone. When the stricter punishment passed, Israeli Justice Minister Ayelet Shaked boasted, "Tolerance towards terrorists ends today. A stone thrower is a terrorist, and only a fitting punishment can serve as a deterrent and just punishment." Then in 2015, an amendment was added that collectively punished the families of those prosecuted in Jerusalem. It gave the Israeli government the authority to cancel state health insurance and other social benefits for the parents of imprisoned minors. Child or adult, they are jailed. Compounding this repression, the Palestinian Prisoners Society estimates that 90% of Palestinian prisoners have been subjected to torture by Israeli forces. Even more egregiously, a 2013 report by the Public Committee Against Torture in Israel revealed that Palestinian prisoners, including children, were kept in outdoor iron cages during severe winter weather. This torture is in many forms, from solitary confinement to physical pain to sexual assault.
In some cases, since also October 2015, even some prisoners who were injured before being arrested were subjected to sexual harassment inside hospitals.
There's still people in prison from the Second Intifada and that are going to be in there for decades more. I mean, talk about what that does to actually any resistance efforts in the country.
Yeah, of course it destroys the spirit of resistance within the society, and also I would say that probably most Palestinians are more concerned now to go in prison because they know once they go in, then they'll probably stay there, maybe for the rest of their life.
From making peaceful protest illegal to force-feeding hunger strikers, Israel has taken away literally every means Palestinians have to resist the human rights violations they suffer on a daily basis by this occupation. And jail is used as the ultimate tool of silence to shutter their advocacy for freedom. As resistance inside occupied Palestine becomes increasingly strangled, resistance on the outside grows more essential.